And that's it. We control Tokyo. We control Rome. We control Berlin. Not really required for the achievement, but yet. We control Paris. We control London. We are the full Ottoman Empire. We cored everything. So all of the provinces of the Ottoman Empire are back into the Ottoman Empire. Well, this is what I would call a successful Ottoman Empire guide, a successful Ottoman Empire run. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Ottoman Turkey won the last country poll, which I must admit was quite a long time ago. And the reason it took so long to make this guide is that this is a very challenging run, so I worked really hard on it. While fascist Turkey can become incredibly powerful early on, like it often happens with fascist countries, the Ottoman path runs into a series of difficulties ranging from bad and long focuses to a civil war and RNG heavy moments. So what I wanted to make, as usual, is a guide that is consistent, does not abuse glitches, and that any one of you can follow. But I wanted to do more than that and offer a guide that allows you to get one of the hardest achievements in the game. If that sounds interesting, then this is the right video for you. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask in the comments and make sure to join our Discord to meet our amazing community. And of course guys, as always, if you enjoy the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing and leaving me a comment. It really helps, and as you can see, a lot of work goes into these guides. But that's all for the introduction, so let's get started. As usual guys, you can find all researches and focuses in the description of the video, so they will not be covered in the video itself. And you can get access to the dedicated spreadsheet by purchasing a tier 2 membership to the channel. Test. Okay. What the? Ah, okay. So in terms of buildings, this is our initial priority, and the reason we are building infrastructures in Ankara despite not having building slots is that we have where is it? Is that we have a decent amount of resources that will later be exported when we switch to free trade, meaning we will get our civilian factories through that. We do the same for these two provinces here. In terms of military and naval production, there isn't much that we can do. This is the priority. Just make sure to add also the MIO to Infantry Equip. Now we're going to gather our army and then we're going to split them into two groups. We want the larger group to take We want the larger group to be about 19 divisions, and these divisions will be protecting this border for the civil war. So this setup is already the setup that we're going to use for the civil war. Use a fallback line, something like this, for the larger group, and for the smaller one, a fallback line in here, like this. We can also assign them to a marshal, though we don't need to assign them the actual marshals, and we can start to train them. We can also start training our amazing air force, and we can gather and train our fleet as well. Here we can give them an admiral. The occupation law is going to be local police force. And we're also going to create an agency. Now later on we will use the spy on root out resistance in the area of Kurdistan. We are going to ignore trade for the early part of the run, so we don't care about that, and that means that the initial setup is already done. When you complete the first focus, you will get a series of events. Pick no settlements. Then nothing has changed. And then you will always win. There is no other option. So you will get enough political power to pick our first advisor, the Silent Workhorse. After completing the next focus, you will have the political power to pick the Army Maneuver Genius. And we can now also stop training the Navy since we are completely out of fuel. Can send them to Izmir. And then as soon as you complete this focus, you have some new special decisions. We're going to pick nationalism right away, and then you can switch on to this tab, because very soon... Well, let's not forget to pick the focus, shall we? And then you can switch to this tab, because very soon you will be able to pick partial mobilization. There we go. As we complete this focus, we get some new special decisions, and we're going to pick the very first one, open the Nazilli factory. As soon as you get to 240 political power, you can pick this decision here and then pay off our debts, so we can get rid of the debts entirely. In whatever. Then, as soon as possible, we're going to improve relations with Spain. Somewhere around this time you should get this event. It can be a little bit later. We got it very early. It can be no earlier than January 1937. And it should happen within 3 months. And it should happen within 3 months from this date. Generally speaking, the earlier it happens, the better it is for us. But the focus priority covers all possibilities. Now, whenever you start getting these messages, always pick the ones increasing stability and popularity of democracy. At 100 political power, we are going to send an attaché to Spain. When you get this event pick, of course, we will sign the pact. And you can now pick this new series of focuses just added with the latest patch. At the same time, we're going to pick republicanism. The financial expert. And we're going to start building military factories in Izmir and in Istanbul. Now you need to keep an eye on this event. You want to retire Ataturk in any case before the deadline, ideally just after completing this focus. We have a margin of 2 days in this case, and this is the earliest possible. So it should always be possible to retire him right after this focus. Okay, the focus is done. We can now retire Ataturk. But if you're not done with the focus yet, do retire Ataturk earlier if for some reason the deadline is sooner than the focus. As soon as you retire Ataturk, you're enabled to pick this focus here. We're also going to pick finance the Bursa factory. As soon as possible, we're going to pick republicanism. At the election, you need to vote for the Democrats. Very important. So we are now a democracy. But don't worry, not for long. At 75 political power, we're going to pick one of these new decisions, fidelity. As soon as possible, we're going to start improving relations with China. And as soon as this focus is done, we can send an attaché to China as well. And we're also going to pick increase... where is it? Wait a second. And we're also going to pick increase influence and jihad. At the same time, we're also going to start building military factories in all of the 60% plus provinces. Make sure that the repairs are the lowest priority and the factories you have been building are the highest priority. Infantry Equip MIO. And as soon as possible, we're going to invest in a Malatya factory. As soon as this focus is completed, you will get some random infrastructures, so check the best provinces to build in and see if there is anything new which is good. Like we got these two at 60%, also check them for modifiers. We got good modifiers, so we can build more military factories in here too. Now, if you get the infrastructures in the area here, do not build in here. This is bad. And also check for very bad modifiers. And also always check for very bad modifiers, like for example this one, and try to avoid building in these provinces. So this is the construction priority at this point in my run. By the way, always insist with your attaché, don't withdraw them. Trucks MIO. And when you complete this focus, you will be in a civil war. The majority of your divisions should be on this border. You can now assign them a proper front line, like this. But this is not a civil war we actually fight. It's one in which we rush victory points. Just give them an offensive command, not like this. So I will show you in a bit how to rush victory points and win the civil war within 1 week. Same thing with the army here. We set them up and give them an offensive line of this kind. We can now give them a marshal, but wait for the generals. You will get an event in a couple of days giving you new generals. We can now right away also pick extensive conscription and war economy. That's why we have been saving on political power. And our goal is to finish the civil war within the 35 days of this focus. You will get this event, pick our old glory awaits. Now you get new generals. We can set them on aggressively execute battle plans, highest motorization priority, and we can start immediately both offensives. So in addition to starting the offensives, we also want to rush the victory points. So we're going to keep these guys stuck. And with the other ones, we're just going to micro them by shift-clicking. Make sure they take all of the victory points in this area. This area is the easy one usually. On this side, we will struggle a little bit more. We need to find an opening to get behind the enemy lines and rush Izmir and Balıkesir. We don't care about them pushing from here, so we're actually going to move away from here. It's fine. We're not going to capitulate and they are not going to get any extra victory points. Okay, let's go.
Emredersiniz efendim. Hazırım. Gitmeye hazır. Beni dikkatle dinleyin.
Okay, looks like we may have an opening here. So with this guy, we want to try and rush the victory points if we can. This guy is also doing great.
Emirleriniz için hazırım.
It's looking good.
Hazırım efendim. Emredersiniz. Hadi durmayın, devam. Hazırım. Emredersiniz efendim.
And that's it. The civil war is over. We were quite fast. As you can see, we had about half of the focus available. So even if you're a little bit slower, you can easily do it. Again, the important thing is not to kill their units. It's just to go behind them and rush the victory points. While leaving this side completely open, they can rush you too. You're too big for them to capitulate you, and they will waste some divisions doing that. So this is the best way to easily and quickly win the civil war without cheating, of course. You could also change all of your army to one cavalry and so on, but we don't cheat and we still do it. Now, after the civil war, we are going back to building military factories in the best available provinces. You probably lost the ones in Istanbul and in here. And from now on, whenever you have free whenever you have free civilian factories, you can just build more military factories in the best available provinces. Just remember to check modifiers and not only the... Just remember to also check modifiers or where you're building. Don't just look at the infrastructure level. And as soon as we expand, do not be shy of building in your puppets or in additional conquered territories in here. I'll probably remove this part, but okay. We're going to change the production. So this is a new production priority. We add a few new equipment types. We bring down the infantry equip to 10. We now also want to adjust trade, and we will keep adjusting trade from now on. We're going to pick the Army Offense Expert.
Emriniz yok mu?
And we're going to make some adjustments to our army.
Beni dikkatli
Now,
dinleyin.
first of all, we're going to split up. First of all, we're going to split off the only Alpini division we have. I'm going to rename. Wait a second. I'm going to rename the divisions in here a little bit. Now, these ones we are never going to use. This one we're also not going to use. This will be our cav for garrisons only. This will become our def. Change the icon to this one and I make them a default priority. And this will be our Alp. And I will make them elite. And we're going to change all of these 19 divisions to def. And then recruit enough defensive divisions to make it a full army, which means an additional 5 divisions.
Hazır ol.
I also want this guy on the Alpini,
Beni dikkatli dinleyin.
and this guy can be on def.
Dikkat.
At 50 political power, we are going to subsidize. Oh my god. Okay, at 50 political power, we're going to pick this decision here. This is the tank MIO priority.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum.
At 100 political power, we are going to pick the military theorist. We're going to pick the first two Grand Battle Plan doctrines. The second and the third spirits. And the first three Alpine and the first three Mountaineers doctrines. From now on, too, Mountaineers doctrines will have the priority over Grand Battle Plan. So we want to finish these ones first. Now we also want to recruit the max amount of Alpini divisions. And we want to add to these divisions the support companies. Engineer Company, Anti-Air, Artillery, Rangers, and the Field Hospital. For a total of 45 army experience. Yeah, we're doing particularly good with the factories. I guess we were kind of lucky in here. Fine, let's be there. As you get to 50 political power, usually after completing that focus, we can pick this decision. And we're going to add support companies also to our defensive divisions. Engineer, Anti-Air, Artillery, and Rangers.
Some of you perhaps have already heard what it contains, but I would just like to read to you. We, the German Führer and Chancellor, and the British Prime Minister have had a further meeting today.
We are then going to pick Fidelity. We are going to force deploy everything.
Hazır ol.
And we are going to start training all of them.
We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again. We are resolved
Right away, you should also be able to pick modernize our tactics.
to deal with any other questions that may concern our two countries, and we are determined to continue our efforts to remove possible sources of difference and thus to contribute to assure the peace of Europe.
And then as soon as you get enough army experience, we need a total of 33. We can design our new tanks. We're going for the basic medium tank chassis. Make sure to out-upgrade it and not Make sure to auto-upgrade it. This is going to be our design. Let's save it. And let's start producing it. Infantry tank designer. And we will dedicate all future factories to it. As we complete this focus, we can start picking more advisors. We'll start with the army regrouping, and then as soon as possible, we'll also pick army logistics. Okay, army logistics, and now we can prepare the invasion of Greece. For the invasion of Greece, we are going to split off 2 groups of 5 from the defensive army. We're going to give 1 more to the Alpini to make it a total of 10. Then these 13 divisions will push into Greece from here. And give them an offensive line like this. With the Alpini, we are going for a naval invasion from Izmir, groups of 2 for the area of Athens. Make sure to send 2 of them here, otherwise this becomes a pretty bad choke point. Then I usually send 2 here, and the last 2 here. So something like this. The additional 2 armies we created will push into these islands here. And these islands here. Let's also give them some generals. Let's make the... well, whatever. Keep training them for the invasion.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Efendim? Hazırım.
You're using trains, right? Why wouldn't you fucking use trains? Now for mountaineers, since we're using tanks and not artillery, we're going to pick the left path here. If you prefer to use artillery, this is actually a debatable choice at this point. Instead of making the tanks instead of making these tanks, you could be just making line artillery, and you would have an advantage, which by the way is interesting for the debate versus between tanks and line artillery. With line artillery, you would have an advantage in the early stages of the run, so invading Greece, Yugoslavia, Romania, possibly Hungary, Bulgaria, Spain, the UK, but you would fall down later in the run when it's about fighting the Axis. So it's up to you. If you prefer to use line artillery, go for it. And if you do, I would recommend picking this one. If not, go for this one.
Hizalanın.
Okay, focus done. We got our first claim. It's time for the first expansion war. Now, Greece is guaranteed by Romania, but we're also guaranteed by Romania, which means Romania will not join. That's actually unfortunate. We would be happier with them joining, but for now, let's take care of Greece. So, war on Greece. We are going to set our fleet on naval invasion support. We should get Green Sea right away, and we are going to trigger all of the offensives at the same time. Slow down a bit. Disembarking is usually not a big issue, and we can micromanage a little bit. We need to try and rush Athens as fast as possible, of course. And you can attack them from both sides here. But with this guy... Yeah, never mind.
Emredersiniz efendim.
And with these guys disembarked here, you can try to rush the entire area around them. Then as soon as you take Athens, you can plan another naval invasion, in addition to reinforcing these guys up here. So now you should be done with these islands. You can gather these guys back into one army, and you can plan a naval invasion with groups of 1 from Izmir to Crete.
Dikkat! Emriniz.
In groups of 1 just to make it faster.
Efendim. Hizalanın. Burayı dinle. Emriniz. Hazırım komutanım. Emredersiniz. Emriniz yok mu?
Now also keep an eye on war support, because if you can, you should pick right away war bonds. We can in this case. You need more than 84%, so it's very close, but we're able to. And with the new dockyards and also with the old ones, actually, we are going to make some empty battle cruisers. Now this is the design. The idea here is to use this for naval supremacy. So the only purpose is to have as much manpower as possible. This is the best design for that. We're going to save it, and we're going to start making it. And as I mentioned, we make it with all dockyards. If you're almost done with the last convoy, you can finish it, but then all dockyards on this design.
Emriniz yok mu? Dikkat! hazır. Baş üstüne efendim. Harekete hazırım.
With the Alpini, you can plan a new offensive in here. And you can trigger it.
Hazırım efendim.
Not all of you, maybe. So if things go smoothly, like in this case, often you don't need the naval invasion. But if things get tricky, it's always good to have an alternative
Baş üstüne efendim.
and a faster way to end the war. So we trigger the naval invasion anyway. May take some additional casualties, but that's fine. And as soon as Crete goes down, the war should be over. So that's done. Since eventually we will be able to core Greece, we are going to annex them and take their navy. Now that Greece is down, we can cancel this naval invasion, we can gather back our troops and we can prepare them at the border with Bulgaria. Now, Bulgaria usually accepts your puppeting request, but sometimes they refuse, and in case they refuse, we need to be ready for that. So we'll prepare the entire army at the border and we will train them in case they took any casualties. We're also going to move our spy on diplomatic pressure in Bulgaria, and we're going to start recruiting another 24 defensive divisions. At 75 political power, we are going to pick fidelity again. At 50 political power, we will pick we will pick this decision. And then as soon as possible, we are going... Let me do that later. And then as soon as possible, we're going to improve relations with Bulgaria. The spy on diplomatic pressure and their relations should make them a bit more likely to accept. But again, sometimes they don't. We need to be ready for that. At 25 political power, we are going to pick expand early. And we're going to force deploy and train our new defensive divisions. Now, as soon as you complete the Mountaineers doctrines, you can change the template a little bit.
A final note, stating that unless we heard from them by the 11th
We're going to add 2 more Mountaineers battalions, and then as soon as possible, we will add the first medium tank battalion. We need 25 army experience for that.
Hazırım.
And make sure to keep training them in the meantime.
there's no such undertaking, and that consequently, this country is at war with Germany.
Hizalanın.
You can imagine what a bitter blow it is to me.
Alright, Bulgaria refused. That's far from ideal, but that's okay. It's better that it's challenging in our run. So you will see what happens. Now, when Bulgaria refuses, the run becomes tougher for a few reasons. The first one is that we need to take them down, so we waste some time here. The second one is that we lose their divisions. They have 13 divisions that we would have had on our side if they accepted. And the third reason is that we generate a bit more war tension, which means later on we may be unable to take Hungary. That's the biggest, probably, of the changes in the overall outcome of the run. That's not necessarily the case. So we'll see what happens with that.
Gitmeye hazırım.
The proposals were never shown to the Poles, nor to us. And though they were announced in the German broadcast on Thursday night, Hitler did not wait to hear comments on them, but ordered his troops to cross the Polish frontier the next morning. His action shows convincingly that there is no chance of expecting that this
At 50 political power, we're also going to pick populism.
he can only be stopped by force. And we in France are
We're also going to recruit, I should have done it a bit earlier, but we're also going to recruit another 3 Alpini divisions, the required amount to bring them to 12 in total.
Toparlanın.
Then as soon as we're ready, we're going to declare war on Bulgaria. We're going to use all of our planes. Look at this massive air force. How good is that? And we're going to push right away into Bulgaria. The good thing is that at least we will get enough army experience quickly to add the last medium tank. To add the first medium tank battalion to our Alpini. Let's go on and do that. They are last standing, which is very annoying. That's okay.
Devam edin.
Again, we can try to rush victory points in here.
Emredersiniz. Hazırım efendim. Harekete hazırım. Hazırım efendim.
We're also going to start improving relations with Germany, and we're going to move our spy on diplomatic pressure on Germany, in Germany as well.
Hazırım. Marş. Bana kulak verin.
Now, on the bright side, at least Bulgaria usually goes down quite fast. For the sake of consistency, instead of annexing them, I will puppet them, because this is what would likely happen when they accept, which is the most common outcome, in my opinion. And so now that Bulgaria is our puppet, we can request for garrison support. That really helps.
Emriniz yok mu?
And we can get ready to invade Yugoslavia. Now, Yugoslavia can be a little bit Yugoslavia can be a bit annoying, so we're going to push with our Alpini from here. And the first push is going to be very important, because if we can get a big encirclement down south, so the idea is to push here, then here, and close down all of the divisions they have down here. That's going to massively help and make the entire war a lot easier.
Harekete hazırım.
So we're going to take another...
Emriniz var mı?
We're going to take 10 defensive divisions and move them to a different army. The 13 defensive divisions we have in here will be pushing from Bulgaria into Yugoslavia.
Harekete hazırım.
These guys, which are not fully trained yet, will be at the southern border to push into Yugoslavia. And the 10 divisions we split off will lead a naval invasion from here, groups of 2 of the entire coast of Yugoslavia here.
Emirleriniz. Burayı dinle. Hazırım. Emriniz yok mu?
So something like this, make sure to move the navy in position as well. We can pick the naval refit yards here, well, whatever, it doesn't matter that much.
Emirleriniz.
Now let's make sure that everyone gets in position.
Dikkat. Hizalanın. Hazırım komutanım. Emirleriniz için hazırım.
Use the freaking trains, motherfuckers. And it looks like we're ready, so we can save. No, let me do that again. We also see the timing here. That's not that bad. Not that bad, okay.
Harekete hazırım.
Okay, looks like we are ready, so we can declare war on Yugoslavia. We can immediately check that we get Green Sea and trigger our naval invasion. It's not ready yet. Never mind, so we'll do it in 4 days. But more importantly, we can keep training these divisions. We're actually happy if they push us a little bit down here. What we do want to push, very importantly, is the area up here. So we need to call, of course, Bulgaria into the war. And then we need to micromanage these divisions at least a little bit to try and rush the supply hubs. Now, as you can see, all of the supplies down here are coming through here. So if we can rush this supply hub here, we will put them into a very tough spot.
Emriniz yok mu?
What we don't particularly need to do is push down here. We want many of their divisions to be stuck in here, in fact. We can trigger our naval invasion as well to apply even more pressure.
Hazırım.
Things are going pretty well so far.
Emriniz yok mu?
Just make sure to micro and rush this border with Albania as fast as possible. And circling these units really, really helps. Accept the land lease offers as well. Now, as soon as possible. Not yet. Okay. We are doing that, right? Yeah. Okay. All good.
Hizalanın. Siper alıyorum.
Okay, we can use a force attack to make sure they disembark, but actually the naval invasion is also going quite well. Yugoslavia struggles, they don't really have enough divisions, so if you manage your divisions properly, they will suffer a lot.
Hazırım. Emredersiniz. Emredersiniz efendim. Hadi yürümeye devam et.
You need to avoid losing this area though, so you need to cover it.
Harekete hazırım. Hizalanın. Hazırım. Hazırım efendim. Dikkat! Püskürtün şunları. Emriniz yok mu? Hizalanın. Emriniz var mı? Burayı dinle.
Okay, very much like the way things are going here. We are doing very good.
Hazırım efendim. Toparlanın.
We can now stop training these divisions and get ready to push in here as well.
Hizalanın. Harekete hazırım. Burayı dinle. Emriniz var mı? Toparlanın. Emriniz.
We can now push the entire front. I think they are crumbling.
Hazır ol.
With these guys, we can rush victory points. You can tell when they don't have divisions anymore. In the end, most of their divisions are stuck in here, so we are free to push.
Emredersiniz. Gitmeye hazırım. Hazırım.
We now have the great green color of the Ottoman Empire. Now it makes sense. Now it all makes sense. At 75 political power, we can pick war bonds. And it should now be possible to get a non-aggression pact with Germany. Let's do it. We can now switch our spy on build intel network in Spain. And we can get the naval department upgrade.
Harekete hazırım. Emredersiniz. Marş.
We just keep spamming last stand, these guys.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Hazırım efendim.
Oh, but I think the war is almost over, probably. Let's see if taking Belgrade... let's see if taking the capital and Novi Sad is enough. Maybe, maybe not. No, not yet. We also need to take this place here. And if they keep last standing, that may be a bit challenging.
Hazır ol.
Should be fine. Eventually, it will be fine.
Yürüyün. Hazırım efendim. Nişan alıyorum. Hadi, hadi,
Oh
hadi.
my god.
Çekilin. Püskürtün şunları.
Come on.
Yürümeye devam edin. Kıt adur.
The reinforced meme is real. Oh, finally. Okay, that should be it. Alright. And Yugoslavia is finally down. We're going to annex Yugoslavia and take their navy. That's it. Now, right away, we are going to core Bosnia. It's this option here. We are going to expand these steel mills. We're going to change the production a little bit. We bring the production of trucks to 2. Anti-air to 5. Support equipment to 10. We adjust our tank MIO. So fun. So fun. We are going to deploy these Alpini divisions and we're going to make some changes to them. As we are bringing them to a total width of 20.2, 9 mountaineers to 2 medium tank battalions.
Emriniz yok mu?
We can assign them here, we can send this guy back in here, and we can plan the war against Romania.
Emredersiniz.
Now, against Romania, we will use our Alpini divisions to push from here. The idea is to rush the area with the mountains.
Burayı dinle.
And then we're going to use these defensive divisions to push the entire border.
Emriniz
These
yok mu?
other 14 divisions to push from the area of Bulgaria.
Hazırım
These
efendim.
10 divisions will go for another naval invasion, this time from here, along the coast of Romania.
Dikkat! Beni dikkatle dinleyin. Emriniz var mı? Emirleriniz.
Again, groups of 2, like this.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Hazırım efendim.
Let's make sure to train everyone in the meantime, and let's move our fleet back to Istanbul.
Emredersiniz. Dikkat!
Now, we already have a claim on Romania, but the issue is that Romania is guaranteed by France. We don't want to be at war with the allies, so to get rid of the guarantee, this guarantee, the only thing we can do is we wait for Germany to take down France, which should happen quite soon. There is only one very annoying issue with that, and that is sometimes there is a bug for which Vichy France is formed before France capitulates, and when that happens, Romania remains guaranteed by Free France. Let me be very clear about this. This is a bug. It's not supposed to be part of the game. It's not RNG. It's simply a bug. If that happens and you're playing on Iron Man, you simply cannot take Romania. You need to give up on Romania or restart the run, which is quite annoying because Romania is a big part of the run and it's a land that we can core, so it's very annoying. If you're not playing on Iron Man, you can simply tag. You press tag in the console, tag fra. You get rid of the guarantee, you tag back the Ottoman Empire, and you continue the run. It's not cheating, in my opinion, in this case, because it's a bug. It's not something that's supposed to happen. We'll see if it happens later, hopefully not in this run. And hopefully not in your run.
Dikkat! Baş üstüne efendim. Baş üstüne efendim.
As soon as possible, we're going to pick Fidelity again. Okay, looks like France will go down soon, so we'll stop training the troops. It's okay, even if the mountaineers are not fully trained, it's fine. Now just please don't be bugged. Should be fine, because as you could see, France capitulated and then Vichy France appeared. Let's see. Okay, it's fine. So when it's not fine, this bugs out. France doesn't capitulate, Vichy France appears, then France capitulates, and Romania remains guaranteed by France. In any case, that's very good news for us, and it also means it's time to take care of Romania. So, war on Romania, we attack with everyone at the same time. We call Bulgaria into the war, and we put the fleet on naval invasion support. There is a little bit of RNG as to how challenging Romania is, but overall it will be fine. Now, as we do this, however, we also want to justify a claim on Hungary and on Spain at the same time. And we want to improve relations with Vichy France.
Hadi durmayın, devam!
Now, what usually happens here is that you struggle a lot along this front, but you push very easily with the mountaineers up here. And the naval invasion will distract them significantly. Oh, very nice that we got this area easily. You can rush immediately victory points.
Hazırım efendim! Marş! Geri çekilin! Harekete hazırım!
Perfect.
Emirleriniz için hazırım! Hazırım komutanım!
At 50 political power, we're going to pick populism.
Hazır ol! Gitmeye hazır! Emriniz var mı? Emredersiniz efendim!
Looks like we can rush some victory points from here. Again, against Romania, we have an advantage. We have an advantage in terms of divisions. Not even that big, actually, but our divisions are better, so we can use them to rush victory points and put them in a very tough spot. In fact, they may even... no, we need to take this place, unfortunately, which is a bit tricky at the moment.
Burayı dinle! Harekete hazırım!
And there we go. Romania is down. This was a smooth one. Very happy. So we can annex them and take their navy. Now we can immediately core all of Romania from here. And that's huge. That's a lot of extra factories and especially manpower that we really needed. We are going to start recruiting the max number of Alpini divisions. It should be 11. and another 24 defensive divisions. Now we will be completely out of manpower, but just for a bit because we haven't gotten the manpower from Romania yet. And then let's give a look at Hungary. Now there is again a bit of RNG. RNG that tends to get worse if you had to annex, if you had to invade Bulgaria. But Hungary sometimes, rarely I must say, is guaranteed by the UK before our claim is done. So we'll need to see what happens with that.
Burayı dinle. Emriniz yok mu?
In the meantime, we are just going to assume they will not be guaranteed, and we're going to prepare all of our divisions to push them as fast as possible.
Emirleriniz için hazırım. Burayı dinle. Hazırım komutanım.
In the meantime, we can keep training them, of course. Now, speaking of RNG, we also need what happens with Vichy France, whether they give us this land or not. Oh, very nice. Okay, they accepted. This is the usual outcome, but again, there is RNG. Sometimes they refuse. Of course, it's better if they accept. Even if they refuse, though, you can take them later, so that's fine. So we will welcome them back. We're very happy, especially because we can core them right away, so that's great. Five days. Will they guarantee them? Or will we be fine? Or will we be fine? We got it, boys. We got Hungary as well. Okay, so this one, other than Bulgaria being a bit stubborn, is going quite well. Just to be clear though, if they are guaranteed by the UK, you cannot invade them, just skip to the next step.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum.
That's not the case for us, so let's go on and take them down.
Parladı.
If you do want to take them down, you need to do it as fast as possible, because there is a small chance that they join Germany. That's why we got a non-aggression pact with Germany.
Çabuk, çabuk, çabuk.
So to make sure that things go smoothly, again, rush victory points whenever possible.
Marş.
And last standing everything, these motherfuckers.
Hizalanın. Emredersiniz.
No, don't go there, come on. And Hungary is down. Now, since we cannot core Hungary, we are not going to annex them. We're going to Balkanize them instead to get the most out of this peace conference. So split them into 3 puppets and then take war reparations and resource rights. One little note that may be worth mentioning now is since we are on free trade, arguably resource rights are not that convenient. I mean, they're good because we get the resources, then we sell them and we get civilian factories in return. But in terms of pure resources, it's not as convenient. So you can also skip on resource rights and then import from them instead. It's a bit less micromanagement as well. Whichever you pick, be happy with this peace conference. And it's time to prepare for Spain. Now, for Spain, finally, there is no RNG. Nobody can guarantee them. They cannot join any faction. So we're fine. So we're going to force deploy everything and we're going to train everything. So we're going to merge the mountaineers in here. We're going to create this new defensive army. We're going to recruit another mountaineer right away to bring the entire army to 24. We're going to request garrison support from Hungary and from the other puppets if they are willing to. Not willing to. And we're going to upgrade our tank to the T2 version, which is going to be this design here. So we can save it and we can start producing it. Look at this. This manpower is very, very juicy. Very cool.
Bana kulak verin.
Actually, this guy is coming out very good. So I'm going to use him here.
Emriniz.
So now, since we researched the landing craft, we can trigger a naval invasion of 30 divisions. So we're going to use all of the mountaineers and 7 infantry divisions from here to naval invade Spain. Groups of 2. Try, if possible, to merge... Try, if possible, to make groups of 2 with trained and not yet trained divisions. And split them into these 3 ports to depart. The target will be all of the coast of Spain from here all the way up to Valencia. Groups of 2, when you get to 30, you stop.
Hazırım efendim. Emredersiniz efendim. Beni dikkatle dinleyin. Hazırım. Harekete hazırım. Hazırım komutanım. Harekete hazırım. Hazırım. Dikkat! Dikkat! Emredersiniz. Hazırım. Gitmeye hazır. Baş üstüne efendim.
Finally, we are done. Okay, finally we are done. All of these arrows are our naval invasions. Now the Alpini will move in position. These other guys, we can send them here. This other army will also support them, so we can move them to Athens.
Emriniz yok mu?
The newly recruited army will also move them. Do we? Really? 3 full armies. We move to Spain. Let me check. Three full armies. Okay. Yeah. So the newly recruited army will also move in here and be ready to support them. We can use trains and we can train all of them in the meantime. We still have some time before our claim comes. Of course, very important, we need to arrange and move our fleet, which I forgot in there, unfortunately. We move the fleet to Athens, or actually, no, we move the fleet in here. We are also going to request forces from Bulgaria.
Gitmeye hazır.
These guys can be with another marshal.
Emredersiniz efendim.
So these guys, this will be our puppet army, and they will also always follow and support in Spain, and then they will protect the Gibraltar area later. Whatever, that's not very important actually. Now we're also going to pick ground support. We don't need ground support though. What do we get it for? Yeah, ground support is useless. Wait, let me remove this one. I mean, I guess we pick it for the additional command power. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. No, actually, never mind. It's not bad. We're going to pick the ground support expert.
Emredersiniz.
And we're going to wait until we are ready. No, we don't want to trigger the invasion of Spain until our Alpini divisions are at least trained. They don't need to be all the way up to regular, but trained is important. Yeah, they don't repair anyway because we don't have any dockyards, right? I believe so. That's fine.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum.
At 85 political power, we are also picking the decisive battle expert. We're picking these experts more for the extra command power than we are for the experiences or buffs. Although night fighting is also nice to get, so make sure to pick spirits when you can. Here we can pick a bold attack, although it's a bit late.
Efendim. Efendim. Burayı dinle.
Okay, we got our claim. Now let's just wait for the Alpini to be trained. Okay, they are. We can stop training them.
Hazırım efendim.
Can stop training these guys as well.
Emredersiniz.
No, actually no. We can keep training. Yeah, let's stop training them. These MIOs don't matter.
Efendim.
As soon as we get the organization back, I think we can go. Now, the only thing we need to check against Spain is whether our fleet will be able to get the naval supremacy right away or not. Now, they didn't capture the spy, and this will certainly help. Let's see what happens, though. Let me sure we have it now, then declare war, and let's see if we can retain it. It looks like we can. Okay, sometimes this is not the case. It depends a bit on the spy, whether you're lucky or not. And if you don't get Green Sea right away, what you would do is you would set this fleet on patrol. On patrol, always engage here, and you put them in here until this region becomes green. When this region becomes green, then you switch. Let me do that again. When it becomes green, you switch to naval invasion support, you assign all of the regions, and they will all be green. And that being said, we can trigger the invasion. Let's make sure that all of the planes we have available, not that many, but we're starting to steal them from other countries, are with our mountaineers. We'll also deploy this guy and send it to them as well. We're going to authorize the Nuri Kiligil factory. And let's take Spain. When the Soviet Union demands Bessarabia, of course, we're going to give it up. Want to be at war with the Soviet Union. Okay.
Gitmeye hazırım. Hazırım efendim. Bana kulak verin. Harekete hazırım.
Everything going according to plans with this invasion so far.
Harekete hazırım.
Looking good.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Emriniz var mı? Yürüyün. Hazırım efendim. Yürüyün.
Oh, now they captured the agent, but we got the invasion done. That was the important bit. Okay, now that the entire coast is under our control, we can rearrange these armies a little bit, and we can send over the additional armies as well.
Gitmeye hazır. Hizalanın.
Technically, we're okay with pushing the entire front, so you can also use a martial line at this point if you want. Make it a bit faster. And start pushing right away.
Harekete hazırım. Gitmeye hazırım. Emriniz yok mu? Harekete hazırım. Hazırım komutanım.
As usual, you can rush victory points against Spain as well. They don't have enough divisions to compete with us.
Hazırım. Püskürtüyoruz komutanım. Emriniz
the fuck is this?
Gitmeye hazırım. Emirleriniz için hazırım.
As you complete this focus, you can change the occupation law in Kurdistan from local police force to reconciliation.
Harekete hazırım. Hizalanın. Dikkat.
And here we are definitely at the point in which we can just try to rush the victory points.
Hizalanın. Hazırım. Püskürtüyoruz komutanım. Beni dikkatle dinleyin.
The only problem with Spain is they need to go all the way down, but yeah, they don't have divisions, especially after we destroyed them.
Burayı dinle.
There we go. Spain is down. Now we're going to do something very bad to Spain. I'm going to feel a bit sorry about this, but as the Ottomans, we need to do what we must. We do what we must. So first of all, we're going to annex the area of Granada. We're going to use it to push Gibraltar without calling Spain. And then we're going to Balkanize them brutally. Not this one, but the smallest ones. So all of these ones. And then the regular one. All Balkanized brutally. Going to take the resource rights, the war reparations, and the navy. Very important. Don't forget the navy. Now that Spain is done, it's time to get ready for the Allies. So we're going to start building a lintel network in the UK. We are going to move the entire fleet, including the new Spanish one, to the northern coast of Germany. So we cannot send them to Germany yet because we are not in the Axis yet, but we want to move them in here or in here. Actually, this is also fine. Okay, let me do that again. So we're going to move the entire fleet, including the Spanish one, to the northern coast of Germany, around here. We cannot join the Axis yet, but we can already move the fleet there. We're going to recruit another... No, not Alpini. We're going to recruit another 24 defensive divisions. We're going to request garrison support from Spain as well. From the multiple Spains that we have available, actually. In this way, manpower will not be an issue. From now on, we can use the political power to integrate puppets. Bulgaria is a priority. We can already integrate them because I have been building in Bulgaria. Let's also build in here. That's great. And in here. And in here. And we're going to start a justification on the allies.
Bana kulak verin.
Now, before we get ready for the allies... So now we need to get ready for the allies. We need the Alpini to be ready at the border with Gibraltar. They will quickly take it and then they will invade the UK. Another full defensive army will support them. I will place them here for now. Later they will move behind them in the UK.
Emriniz.
Then we will have a total of 48 defensive divisions protecting the mainland. We will use 24 of them at the border with Iraq. Oh, Iraq is at the moment part of the Axis though. That's something to be considered. Sometimes they are part of the Allies. Usually, in fact, they are part of the Allies. So this may not be needed after all. We'll see what happens.
Dikkat.
The other ones, in any case, we will split off about... how many? The other ones, we will split off 6 of them. And use them on a full back line to protect these 2 provinces here.
Emriniz yok
While
mu?
the remaining ones will be at the border. Will be at the border here, ready to push the allies. Actually, no, let me do that again. Will be at the border here, ready to push the allies. And of course, if Syria did not capitulate, you can use them at the border. Of course, if Vichy France refused to give you Syria, the situation here may be a bit different. In any case, you have these 48 defensive divisions to... In any case, you have these 48 defensive divisions to take care of the allies in the region. The puppet troops will be used to defend Gibraltar, so we can move them in here. And ideally, we would want a bit more. So let's see how many we can get. We can now request them from these guys as well.
Harekete hazırım.
Yeah, so something like 5 is already fine. They only need to protect Gibraltar after all. And while we wait, we want everybody to train.
Toparlanın. Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Emriniz. Emriniz yok mu?
Now we got the claim. We're not quite ready yet, so we need everybody at least to be in position before we start.
Emirleriniz. Hazırım. Emriniz var mı? Harekete hazırım. Bana kulak verin. Burayı dinle. Dikkat!
Oh shit. Sad.
Emirleriniz için hazırım.
Okay, I think everyone is pretty much in position. We need to stop training these guys.
Hazırım
We can keep
komutanım.
training the mountaineers for now. We can keep training this one since Iraq is not, well, yeah, this part I will cut out anyway. Okay, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine. Yeah, okay, everyone seems to be in position, so I think we are ready for the allies. Let's go. So, war on the UK, and shortly after, Germany should invite us. They should, right? Why not? Germany. There we go. Okay, Germany invited us into the Axis. Of course, this is quite important. Now we can move our fleet into the safety of their harbors. And we can quickly take Gibraltar. We can use the already
Hazırım komutanım.
We can use the already trained mountaineers for that. Let's go. We can start pushing in here right away. Now, are we at war with both of them or not? Not at war with these guys? Yes, we are.
Baş üstüne efendim.
Why the fuck can I not give them just one front line?
Baş üstüne efendim. Emredersiniz efendim.
I'm not at war with these ones. Okay.
Emirleriniz.
Okay, Gibraltar is taken. That's not usually very difficult when you have Spain. So now we can prepare the mountaineers for the invasion of the United Kingdom, probably the hardest part of the run. So we are going
Emriniz.
with groups of 4 from Dunkirk.
Harekete hazırım. Harekete hazırım. Hazırım komutanım. Gitmeye hazır.
And from here to Portsmouth.
Hizalanın. Toparlanın.
Okay, so this is the final naval invasion plan. Now we're going to use our planes to do a little trick on the allies. We're going to move them in here. We're not going to use them for now, and then we're going to send them to the channel, or actually to here. And then we're going to send them to the channel when needed. For the Navy, we are going to split off all of the submarines. We're going to create a new fleet for them. We're going to split them around into ideally groups of 2 or 1, and later on when we need to get the naval invasion done, we will set them on convoy raiding all around the UK except for the English Channel. Now if we fail to get Green Sea in the English Channel, we're going to switch to this area instead. One of the two will eventually be green.
Dikkat. Püskürtün şunları.
The only purpose of these armies is to farm some war score for us, although if we can take the entire region, unfortunately actually Iraq is with the Axis, but Usually you can take them down and you can core, which means, and you can core them, which means they will be cheaper in his conference. That's quite convenient when it happens. Now, what we also want to do at this point, I'm slightly late actually, we want to justify on Vichy France and on Saudi Arabia.
Hazır ol. Emirleriniz için hazırım. Püskürtüyoruz efendim. Dikkat! Toparlanın! Emriniz var mı?
Completely destroying the Brits in here too. Look at this.
Dikkat! Bana kulak verin.
Now let's explore our naval invasion options and see how this situation is looking at the moment. And it's looking very good because right now we would get full green sea. Now, this is quite lucky, I have to be honest with you. This doesn't always happen in here. It tends to happen sometimes. So if you leave your your fleet on naval invasion, if you leave your fleet on naval invasion support, sometimes you get green sea. But if you do not get green sea right away, remember to use your submarines on convoy raiding exactly like this. We're going to do it actually in any case, this thing. Because the submarines, and then let's set them also on... no, actually this is not... There is no need to do this. Never mind. Because in any case, this will help distract the Royal Navy. They will use their fleet to fight the submarines, they will run out of fuel, and very often they will completely close the English Channel and not have any ships at all in here. If you really cannot do it, organize the same exact thing, but invade from here to the Hull Newcastle area. That's also an option, and it's sometimes a bit easier to get green sea in here than it is in here. It's not the case for us, so we're very happy. The only problem is I was training them, so they will be out of organization, I think. Oh, actually, we're also out of... okay, wait a second. We need a few more days before we can do this. Stop, everyone.
Bana kulak verin.
Okay, let me do that again. Okay, the naval invasion is ready. Now let's see if we get green sea. We don't get green sea. Okay, the UK has some ships in the channel. We were getting green sea just a few seconds ago, but not now. So to help with that, we're going to set all of our submarines on convoy raiding. On convoy raiding all around the UK, and we're going to see if that helps. The other thing we can do in here is we can temporarily move the planes in the English Channel, but not keep them in there. So from time to time we will check if they help getting green sea. And if that's the case, that will help massively get the naval supremacy. usually what helps the most are the submarines. You can leave these guys on naval invasion support and see when this becomes green, if ever. Okay, there we go. Look at this. We got green sea thanks to the submarine destruction. We can trigger our naval invasion. We really don't care much about what happens now. The important thing is that we got green sea.
Emredersiniz.
Naval invasion triggered. Very happy with that. In fact, happy enough that we can now split these into two, put them on always engage, and completely sacrifice this fleet to support our naval invasion. Make sure that we are successful at that. That's the most important part of the run.
Hizalanın.
Let's see if they are defending. They do seem to have a lot of divisions. But not that many, actually. Or at least not on the coastline. I've never seen them defending so poorly recently. Must say they are not having a great time in general. They are losing everywhere. So maybe that's why.
Emirleriniz.
So we give them immediately an offensive line, we immediately move our defensive units to support them, and we also immediately start micromanaging them. We want to rush the area around London. So ideally we want to encircle the area of London, because they usually spawn a lot of divisions in there. The other area we want to rush is this area here. We want to cut them off from here entirely. Let's see how that goes. Where are their divisions? What's happening with the UK? This is too easy. This should not be in the guide.
Hazırım efendim.
People will start saying, wow, the UK has billions more divisions. And yes, they usually do. I don't know what happened.
Hazırım.
UK, what the heck are you doing?
Ve hazırım.
Somehow the UK always needs to mess me up, like whether they do it by by making the naval invasion impossible or too easy, it's never the right amount. Never once they are doing things right.
Hazırım.
Freaking UK. Oh well, I'm not going to complain to have an easy UK invasion. I'm not going to complain. In all of my test runs, this was a lot more annoying. Although there is still a chance they have more divisions up here. But, I mean, look at these. This is great. They don't have green sea, so our convoys are getting through. We are getting supplies. Speaking of supplies, by the way, right now they are going through the wrong side. So if we want to fix this, we don't want our supplies to go through here. We can block these sea regions here. And in this way, the supplies... yes, also want to block this one. This way, the supplies will go through the channel, through Germany and through the channel, which is much, much better.
Toparlanın. Emirleriniz.
So they do have quite a bit of divisions here, and of course they are sending them back, but we're pushing them very fast, and right now our Alpini divisions are very good, of course. So there is that.
Beni dikkatle dinleyin. Bana kulak verin.
You see how the huge Royal Navy is engaging our small submarines, wasting fuel, wasting time with their navy. This is why submarines are really, really good at doing this. Yeah, we will lose them, but it will take them a while to destroy them, and they haven't even destroyed all of them, only one of those three.
Hazırım. Toparlanın.
Now, before we cap the UK, it would actually be nice to get some more score in here, because we only have 16%. That's a bit low. So let's see if we can take some true casualties. No, we cannot. We clearly cannot. The UK even capitulated a bit faster than usual. Okay, 17. It's going to be a bit low, not going to lie, but we're going to make it work. Now, in the peace conference, our priority is to take this area here because we can core it, and here we go all the way down to Blue Nile without taking it though. So this area here, we can also take all of the Arabic Peninsula area. And it would be nice to take Iraq, but we cannot take it this time. Then we're going to puppet Gibraltar, and we're going to puppet Hong Kong and this other place here. And then we're going to annex the Greater London area. We are going to puppet the area south of Egypt, so we don't need to protect the entire border. And we're going to puppet as much of southern England as possible. Let's see how much we can take. At least enough to protect the Greater London area, that would be nice. And this is probably enough. We can try to contest them here though. This may be a bit too much. Play it safe. Yeah, we want to leave about 3,000 points for the Navy, so I think we cannot take more than this on this occasion. Perfect. We are very happy with this, actually. Now, before we take the Navy, let's make sure that there are no leftovers of the UK and France. There usually are leftovers, like in this case, here and here. And for France, they usually leave Tahiti. Yeah, there we go. Let's take Tahiti. Now, the other thing that is a bit weird is that usually this area here is part of Vichy France, and in this case that wasn't the case, so something got a bit messed up with Iraq and this area here, but overall that's fine. This is an area we can core, but we can take it later, so not a priority. So now we can take the Navy, as much of the Royal Navy as possible. Perfect. Now that the peace conference is done, let's see if we can take any additional cores, and we can. We can in here, and we can in Egypt. That's great. So now we are already fabricating a claim on Vichy France. We need to get ready to invade them. For that, let me see if we got anything nice here. No, not yet. Okay.
Emriniz var mı?
For that, we are going to use our mountaineer divisions to invade them from Catalonia.
Lütfen dikkatle dinleyin.
And we're going to use the support offensive army to yeah, that's no longer needed, but yeah, it would be usually needed to naval invade this coast of Africa. So you would plan a naval invasion from the southern coast of Spain to take Vichy France in here. And of course, if they haven't given you Syria before, you would also use your other defensive divisions in here to take Syria. In this case, we don't need to do any of that, so we probably just need to take this part. Easier. In terms of the Navy, of course, we don't need to make these ships anymore. We will not have issues with naval supremacy, so we can cancel them. We can make convoys that we can use to decrease autonomy of our puppets, and we can make some floating harbors for naval invasions. We can also bring the production of infantry equip to 25 factories. We can take them from our T2. Let's make sure that we upgrade the freaking MIO, but that's okay. And then we can adjust trade. We probably need to import... no, whatever. It's fine. Let's make sure to adjust trade, not import too much.
Emriniz var mı?
And well, here I guess it will be faster. Although later on we will need to take care of Iraq, which will be a bit more annoying.
Emredersiniz. Hazırım komutanım.
And since we do not need these divisions for Vichy France, we can get them ready to take down Saudi Arabia.
Emriniz. Emredersiniz efendim.
Let's train everyone and bring our new amazing fleet to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, wait a second. Oh my god. Can I pick them from here? No. Great. So this is another stupid thing, right? When you select the army, you can select all of them from here. I mean, if I select like this, it selects all of them. And if I do it from the Navy, it doesn't. What the fuck? Why? Takes forever, but okay. So we can now merge our new amazing fleet and we can bring it to the Mediterranean. Now, again, usually we would use it to naval invade Vichy France, but that seems not to be required. One thing I will not be able to do from here, though, is I usually naval invade Italy from here. Will not be able to do that because the axis is here. But I can do it from somewhere else, I guess, without too many problems. Taking this part will be a bit harder, though. We'll need some adaptation for the later part of the run, but that's okay. At least we are a bit early, which is good.
Hazırım.
Okay, as soon as we complete the expand air bases focus, we can pick these. We can pick this new decision here. Can also pick this one.
Toparlanın.
Let's not forget the focus, shall we?
Efendim?
Okay, we're about to get our claim on Vichy France. There we go, and I think we're pretty much ready. So remember, you also need to naval invade this area if it is Vichy France. Don't forget about that. So, war on them. Let's call Catalonia. Of course, they are guaranteed by Germany, but we are in the Axis, so Germany can, of course, not join against us, which means we're fine.
Baş üstüne efendim. Emredersiniz.
Now, another important thing to mention about Vichy France is if they did not give you the area of Syria, you need to wait before you capitulate them until Syria and Lebanon also join. Otherwise, you will not be able to claim them in the peace conference. So that's also important.
Bana kulak verin.
Did they at least get the stuff in here? Yeah, they did. They just, for some reason, they didn't get North Africa.
Emriniz yok mu?
Obviously, Vichy France is not a challenging invasion.
Hazırım efendim. Efendim?
Where do we have the thing? In London. Well, I don't care.
Püskürtün şunları.
Done. Vichy France is down. Easy. In the peace conference, we would annex this area if possible, and for the rest, we want to balkanize them. So we are going to split them into several small puppets. It's worth mentioning that this part is not entirely needed, though balkanizing this area here makes it so that Japan doesn't demand it. And generally speaking, balkanizing, making many small puppets means each puppet will research industry focuses, and overall you gain more out of them than you would normally. They also all create units, send you divisions and so on. So that's why we do it. The other reason is more puppets means it's harder for your opponents to justify on them. For example, Italy tends to justify on Vichy France, and if you have two puppets in here, they will justify twice. It will take them longer. After puppeting everyone, we also take the resource rights, and of course we take the navy. Yeah, as much of the navy as possible, and we are happy with this. Let's confirm. Let's continue. Now, at this point, if you were able to annex North Africa, you should also be able to core it. We were not able to do that, so we'll do it later against the Axis. What we can do at this point is we can get ready for Saudi Arabia.
Hazır ol.
Well, we don't need all of these people. Now, at this point, we're also going to say At this point, we're also going to make some changes to our defensive divisions, as we're going to bring them to 18 width, and we're also going to add the field hospital.
Hazırım efendim.
You can refuse the Italian occupation of Dalmatia. Again, we are in the Axis, so they cannot attack us. Look at the huge fleet we now have.
Emirleriniz için hazırım. Hizalanın. Burayı dinle.
You can get fucked instead. How about that?
Hizalanın. Hazır ol.
Everybody's getting sick. Okay, we got our claim on Saudi Arabia. I love how I say do not change the name and it keeps fucking changing the name. It's lovely. Just don't give me the option then if you just want to change the names every time. We can add the artillery ammo.
Emredersiniz.
Okay, let's wait until everyone is trained. But in the meantime, let's start justifying a war goal on Yemen as well.
Emriniz yok mu?
Okay, we're ready for Saudi Arabia. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to leave the Axis before we attack them. That's generally speaking a bit safer because if the Axis is at war with the Soviet Union, which they will be very soon, and they may already be if you're a bit later than me, then there is a chance that Saudi Arabia joins the Soviet Union, and that's not ideal. So we leave the Axis, we declare on Saudi Arabia, and we immediately destroy them.
Efendim.
By the way, you can now also use planes. We have a decent amount to assign to our army. Now that we are no longer in the Axis, we can also spy on Germany. We're going to do it. We're going to do it in here, where our first push will be, and we're going to build infrastructures and forts in the areas at the border with Germany. Now, in our case, and Italy, in our case, that's only here. But if for some reason you couldn't take Hungary, then I would recommend doing the same along the entire Hungarian border. It's just in case. It's a safety measure. It's not entirely necessary, but it helps. And make it the highest priority. Oh, we were embargoed by the US, huh? That's not cool. Get fucked.
Emriniz var mı?
Saudi Arabia is down. Since we can core it, we are going to annex it. And we can core it right away. Okay, now we can get ready for Yemen. Of course, Yemen is not much of a challenge. And I also noticed that Italy justified on us. Yeah, that's for Greece. It's because we are slightly earlier than normal. So we left the Axis and Italy can justify on us. That's totally fine. We were going to justify on the Axis anyway. So in this case, they will attack us, which means it will be a defensive war. It's probably even better. So we're going to get our claim on Yemen slightly before that, but at this point I would rather keep my mountaineers for the Axis. So we're going to prepare the mountaineers at the border with Italy here. Then we're going to prepare 24 defensive divisions at the border with Germany here. Another 24 defensive divisions with a fallback line in here. They will quickly take Zara and then defend this border.
Emredersiniz.
Now, usually you would have to protect this border as well, so I would have 12 defensive divisions in there. In this case, that's not needed, so we're going to have 12 defensive... That's the wrong ones, right? Yeah. Okay. So usually you would have to defend this front as well, which would be annexed by us. And in that case, I would have 12 defensive divisions in here and 12 in here to push the coast of... to push Libya. In this case, that's not needed, so we can just use 24 from this side to do the same thing. It will be a bit harder because there is Germany, but it's not entirely necessary. And then another 24 we can prepare at the border with the Soviet Union here, just in case they trigger indeed... Oh no, actually we need to protect against Iraq. So the other 24, in this case, we will place at the border with Iraq, since Iraq is part of the Axis, and we will need to deal with that. Another front that you may need to protect is this one, if Barbarossa is successful and the Germans start attacking you from here. If not, that's fine. We can also request the British forces. That's quite a lot of them. We can request forces from Hungary. We can request forces from all of our puppets.
Gitmeye hazır.
And all of these additional puppet forces we can use to protect, including the older ones, to protect some additional borders. We will need
Toparlanın.
some of them to be at the border with Italy here, or the Italy in East Africa here, since they may push in here.
Hazırım komutanım.
And the other 24 I usually set at the border with Iran, because Iran may be attacked by the Soviet Union and consequently join the Axis. In this case, we already have a defensive army there, so maybe I will set them at the border with... the Soviet Union. Now, in all of these, the only thing we are not doing is pushing Yemen, so maybe the divisions which are in here...
Hazır ol.
Where were those divisions? I don't know. 24 divisions, yeah, but which ones? Army 4.
Toparlanın.
Yeah. So the army in Libya, we're going to use it to quickly take Yemen before they move to Libya, since we need to take Yemen. And also, let's make sure to train everyone. Make sure that everyone has the highest motorization priority.
Toparlanın.
We can also promote someone for this role.
Hazır ol. Baş üstüne efendim.
What, can you import the fucking stuff or not?
Harekete hazırım.
Okay, we got the claim on Yemen. Let's get ready and attack. So war on Yemen right away. Let's rush the capital. Yeah, easy, as you can see.
Emriniz.
Now we can move these divisions at the border with Italy in here. Ready to push. Oh, breakthrough. Nice. Now we can pick breakthrough as our favorite tactic. We can probably pick it on some of our generals as well.
Harekete hazırım. Emredersiniz. Gitmeye hazırım.
That was the only other one. Okay. Some more announcements in Edogawa while I record my guides. Perfect.
Hazırım efendim.
Oh, fuck. So now that Yemen is down, what we would do at this point of the run is we would start a retake core justification on Italy. That's not needed apparently because Italy is justifying on us, but we'll do it anyway for the sake of consistency. Meanwhile, we can annex Yemen. And we can also core Yemen right away.
Benim Dikkatle dinleyin.
Now, if the Axis does not attack the Soviet Union, and it seems to be the case this time, it may be a little bit tougher than normal. They have a lot of divisions in there. They are ready for the war with us. So let's see how it goes. Maybe interesting.
Hazır ol.
They do something wrong. That was the end here, right?
Vice President, Speaker, members of the Senate,
Bana kulak verin.
yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. United States of America
Okay, Italy got their claim. Let's see if they attack us right away.
of the Empire of Japan.
Scared? Oh well, I got my claim, so how about that? Let's see who is braver here. Mussolini? You shitting your pants? What are you doing? Okay, let's take Italy in.
Looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific.
And of course, taking Italy means taking the Axis and being at war with Japan as well. So we go to war.
Dikkat.
Now we can immediately trigger this offensive here. We can wait here, make sure not to lose the fortified area. We can push in here, I believe. And we can probably push Iraq in here. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, we also want to immediately take Zara.
Harekete hazırım.
Okay, Germany is in it. Makes sense. Ooh, I forgot this area. Small mistake, small mistake.
Emriniz var mı?
Yeah, one of the other areas you need to cover with a few divisions is this one here, but that's okay. We can take it back with these volunteers. Can set a few volunteers divisions in there.
During the intervening time, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of
Hadi gidelim.
But look at the divisions they have in here. Now, the Axis had a very good run so far, and they are not attacking the Soviet Union, which means it's tough. It's tough for us. But the US is not embargoing us anymore. That's nice.
Emredersiniz efendim.
But it's also tough for them, as you can see. Oh, big damage. Okay, now that we took care of Zara, we can reorganize these divisions to properly cover this front. Will make the pressure a bit easier to sustain.
Hazır ol.
Hong Kong. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Guam. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Philippine Islands. Last night, Japanese attacked Wake Island.
Here we are not pushing at all. That's okay though. Don't really need to.
Therefore, undertaken a surprise offensive, extending
Hazırım.
So what I usually do with mountaineers at this point is I would start a naval invasion of Italy from this area here, but since we do not control it, we can do it probably from France instead. So let's plan a naval invasion, which harbor is better, from here to the entire coast of Italy, from Genoa
Efendim. Emriniz yok mu?
and safety of our nation.
Emirleriniz?
As Commander-in-Chief of the Army of the
Dikkat!
I have directed that all measures be
Emirleriniz?
taken for our defense.
Emriniz!
Always will our forces
Toparlanın!
remember the character
Burayı dinle!
onslaught against us.
Emredersiniz! Emredersiniz! Emriniz!
All the way to Napoli, so the entire coast of Italy, to protect our mountaineers. As we do that, let's set the navy on naval invasion support. Always engage, never repair. We do have the better fleet, so we can afford to do that.
Bana kulak verin! Emriniz yok mu? Nişan alıyorum!
MIO4 artillery.
Hizalanın! Dikkat! Emredersiniz efendim! Saldırıya devam edin!
I love this guy training next to the fight because I didn't tell them to stop training. That's fine.
Gitmeye hazırım! Toparlanın! Harekete hazırım!
Yeah, so we may not be able to push Iraq that easily. Iraq is always a pain in the ass. They have a lot of divisions and no supplies. So let's just get ready without pushing them.
Dikkat!
Oh, fuck, I didn't see that. Where are they coming from?
Emriniz yok mu?
In any case, our mountaineers are ready, so let's trigger our naval invasion. This will be smooth. Portugal drains the Axis. What the fuck is happening in this one?
Dikkat! Emriniz yok mu? Hazırım! Gitmeye hazırım!
We can, whenever possible, get the additional cores that you will be able to get by taking this stuff.
Harekete hazırım!
I guess we are sending some reinforcements to Iraq. And we can finally pick the infantry specialist here, which means we can also pick it here.
Gitmeye hazır! Hazır ol! Hadi gidelim! Hazırım efendim! Hazırım! Harekete hazırım! Harekete hazırım! Emriniz yok mu?
And we can now start demolishing Italy, as usual. Cannot import from anyone anymore. It's a bit of an issue with the free trade.
Hazırım efendim.
We can put the fleet back on strike force. Remember to do this, otherwise it will be completely out of fuel. We need the fuel for our tanks as well, so that's important.
Püskürtün şunları.
Oh, what happened there to my mountaineers? That's not cool.
Ateşe devam edin.
We don't need these many divisions here, so I'm going to split them. And I'm going to keep 12 of them here. Since we cannot push them anyway.
Saldırıya devam edin.
Another 12 I will send to support our mountaineers.
Kaç.
But don't stop going there. Why would you stop saving them? So stupid.
Harekete hazırım. Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Emirler. Hazırım. Emirleriniz. Emriniz yok mu?
Where's the civil war, Italy? Did you bug my game again? Mussolini. Okay. Good Mussolini, good boy. Don't disappoint me, come on.
Hadi hadi hadi. Emriniz. Emirleriniz için hazırım.
Let's give this another try.
Toparlanın.
Yeah, civil war is still not here though, Mussolini. Where is it? Where is it?
Hazırım. Harekete hazırım.
I mean, at this point, they will just capitulate. What the fuck are they doing?
Hazır ol.
Oh, finally, Iraq is down. Very happy. And I think Italy forgot that they need to have a civil war. So probably there will be no civil war, which is fine.
Onları püskürtüyoruz komutanım.
Oh, there is a civil war. Finally. Now, in this particular case, we don't want to transfer territory. We want to keep it, especially because we will need to control Rome to get the achievement we are
Hadi
looking for.
durmayın, devam.
And nice, very nice. They are down. Perfect.
Dikkat. Burayı dinle.
Now we can focus on Germany.
Emriniz. Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Dikkat. Çekilin. Hazırım. Emirleriniz için hazırım. Emredersiniz. Burayı dinle.
We can also core Iraq, of course.
Emriniz var mı? Hazırım efendim. Emriniz var mı?
Now, with our Alpini divisions, the idea is to push in here to encircle as many divisions in here as possible, and then we'll keep the push into southern Germany. Now, this is much harder than normal, though, because the German Reich did not declare war on the Soviet Union, so they have a lot more divisions than usual.
Emriniz yok mu?
Make sure that we have enough oil, buy some just in case.
Siper alıyorum.
And also, since it's a bit harder than normal, let's also beef up our mountaineers a little bit. I think we can afford to do this.
Toparlanın. Emriniz yok mu?
Big encirclement here.
Toparlanın.
Yeah, I'm actually going to switch from free trade to export focus. This is not technically part of the guide, but we're struggling too much with trade, so this will make it a bit easier.
Emriniz. Emirleriniz için hazırım. Emirlerinizi hazırım.
Yeah, I would say we don't lack tanks for sure. Again? At this point of the run, let's also try to integrate Bulgaria if possible. So I'm going to build a lot in Bulgaria. Since we have nothing else to build, I will build anti-air to decrease their autonomy. Then when it's slow enough, we can send them convoys to finish that and fully integrate them. We need about 600 points. Actually, we may be able to do that already. Yeah, we definitely are. So let's send convoys to Bulgaria so we can annex and core them.
Hazırım efendim. Emriniz yok mu? Emirleriniz. Emirleriniz.
His axis at full power is a bit more annoying, but that's fun. That's the challenge I wanted at this point of the run. It's perfect. Look at our tanks. Or better, look at our mountaineers with tanks. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Got this one. Unfortunately, this is not yet a full encirclement. We need to get this area to make it a real encirclement. Otherwise, they will just escape, which is sad. Well, we got some in here.
Hazır ol. Hazırım efendim. Gitmeye hazır.
There we go. Bulgaria annexed and cord.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Beni dikkatle dinleyin.
What the fuck is this?
Çabuk, çabuk, çabuk. Burayı dinle. Hadi, hadi, hadi. Hazırım komutanım.
Again?
Hazırım efendim. Hazır ol. Hadi durmayın, devam. Yürüyün.
We need to focus a bit more on this side. No. No, 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 no.
Hizalanın.
Fuck you, no.
Gitme. Hazır.
Stop asking me, game. Oh my god, okay. Yes. I'm so happy to do that.
Hazır ol.
Rush this area, come on, boys. Oh, this is going to be one big ass encirclement very soon. And by very soon, I mean
Hadi
right now.
gidelim.
That's so many divisions in there.
Gitmeye hazır.
Ouch, boys, look at this. This will make the run a bit longer, but I'm kind of happy to be able to fight the Axis at full power. Look at these. Ouch. Boom, the Axis army is getting demolished completely. Now, going there is a bit annoying, but yeah. All of their divisions are in there now. Boom! They were in there, I mean. Now nothing is in there. Okay, now we need to adjust this a little bit though. This front is a bit messy. And Germany unfortunately needs to go down all the way to 10%, so that will take a while. Now, usually this is much faster because the Soviet Union is also pushing them. At the same time, we get to take all of the war score, which is nice.
Harekete hazırım. Emredersiniz efendim. Emirlerinizi bekliyorum. Efendim. Beni dikkatle dinleyin. Marş, marş, marş. Gitmeye hazırım.
God damn it, we still lack steel. Well, I cannot do anything about it.
Efendim.
Now, our only problem is we need Japan not to fuck up too much and to lose before we invade them. But other than that, it's fine to take a bit longer here.
Hazırım.
Yeah, these are heavily fortified areas, but we push in there anyway. Annoying.
Emriniz. Burayı dinle. Harekete hazırım.
With these divisions, the push against Germany is not tough. It's just long.
Onları püskürtüyoruz komutanım. Baş üstüne efendim. Emriniz yok mu?
How much longer? Ah! Ah! Fuck. Okay, okay.
Gitmeye
Well,
hazır.
we'll get them. Also, this fucking Danish asked me for support for 1 billion times. They don't do anything then. What the fuck?
Hazırım. Gitmeye hazırım. Hazırım komutanım. Harekete hazırım.
No, please don't give me factories. I don't know what to produce.
Gitme hazır. Hizalanın.
What I think we need at this point is to push this side, because the last corps of Germany should all be here.
Dikkat! Emriniz yok mu? Toparlanın. Burayı dinle. Emirleriniz için hazırım. Hazırım efendim. Hazırım efendim. Hazırım komutanım.
This area is a core.
Emriniz var mı? Emriniz.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh fuck.
Emriniz yok mu?
Why would you fucking send a...
Emre.
No, this is much better.
Emirlerinizi bekliyorum.
Now I must admit I do miss some proper tanks. Like armored divisions. This would be a lot faster with them.
Emriniz.
It's okay though, the final outcome doesn't change.
Var mı? Harekete hazırım. Çekil. Harekete
It really
hazırım.
takes forever though.
Emirleriniz. Emredersiniz efendim. Beni dikkatle dinleyin.
Okay, guys, you need to do this a bit faster. Okay, we're almost there. Finally. There we go. But, well, it was a struggle, but in exchange for that, we get 100% of the score, instead of the usual 60-70% you would get if the Soviet Union joined. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to annex Lazio, because we need it for the achievement. We also need Ile-de-France, which is here. And we're also going to take Berlin, Brandenburg, although we don't need it, just like to show off. We're going to fully annex this area since we can core it, and we can also core Libya. So we're also going to take Libya. We also need this stuff here. And Albania. So let me make sure I got everything. Brandenburg, Ile-de-France, Lazio, Albania, Dodecaneso, Libya, London. And of course, we're going to annex Iraq, since we can, and indeed we already cored it. Everything else we cannot core, so we can just pop it, or if you prefer to have cooler colors, you can just annex everything. You can afford to do it at this point. My recommendation is always to annex. My recommendation is always to pop it, since it's easier than to manage them. Oh, we also got a bonus Portugal in this. Look at that. Now, if you didn't annex London before, remember to annex London for the achievement. Let's go on and just pop it now. Take all of the navies as well. Let's confirm. Let's be very happy with what we got. Because the Ottoman Empire is back, and with this peace conference, we are now also able to core the last two missing provinces, which means the entire Ottoman Empire is back under our control, and it's now our core. This is amazing, but there is one last little bonus for this guide, as if we take Tokyo, we can also get the hardly anything Sèvres, or whatever the pronunciation is, achievement. So we're going to do that, and it looks like we're still fine. Japan sometimes falls a bit early to the United States, but overall it's only 1942, so we're still in time, and we conveniently puppeted Hong Kong and this other province here, so we can trigger our naval invasion from there. We're going to select our mountaineers. Actually, first of all, we're going to send them all to a port, otherwise they do weird stuff. So let's send them all to any port, maybe this one. And as we send them there, let's also prepare our huge fleet for the task ahead. So we gather all of them, remove this command. We are already at war with Japan, so we don't need to worry about that, and we can send the entire fleet there.
Harekete hazırım.
Now that the mountaineers are in here, we can tell them to go here directly to this harbor. Now let me make sure they are going the right way. Yes, they are going the right way. Okay, that's perfect. And when they leave and they're on their way, we can start planning the naval invasion.
Hazırım.
Japan is really not challenging, so anything will work here. We have floating harbors though, so they can help. And we can plan the naval invasion of this area of Japan. I would recommend not going for the other areas simply because it's easier to get the naval supremacy in here.
Emirleriniz için hazırım. Emirleriniz için hazırım. Gitmeye hazır. Efendim? Bana kulak verin. Emredersiniz efendim.
As you can see, I'm not carefully doing the buildings now. Alright, with our fleet in position, we can split off the submarines, create a new fleet with them, and set them on convoy raiding in the area. We can annoy Japan a little bit in this way, and maybe get some score from raiding enemy convoys. As for the main fleet, we can split them, put them on naval invasion support, always engage, never repair, and it should be easy to get Green Sea as soon as they get all there. Now, they may intercept our convoys on the way here and kill some of our mountaineers, and to be completely honest, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because we will struggle to get enough war score. All of the score is in favor of China here. So to get some of the score, it's better to have some casualties at least.
Hazırım. Gitmeye hazırım. Toparlanın.
For once, we don't care about what Chile does. So that's very good. Let's trigger our naval invasion right away. We don't care.
Emirleriniz.
Oh, they even have some divisions. That's quite surprising.
Hazırım efendim.
Not enough, clearly, but
Emriniz yok mu?
we can rush them down. We need to get like 6% of the score to take Tokyo, and I think it should be fine. Japan is incredibly annoying because it's full of these little islands,
Burayı dinle.
and the front line keep getting messed up completely. Need to micro them a bit.
Gitmeye hazırım.
All right, they had that too.
Hazırım komutanım. Harekete hazırım. Saldırıya devam edin.
Okay, now we can give them a normal front line and just push. Now at this point, if you notice that you lock the score, if you notice that your score is lower than 6%, Maybe slow down a bit, let them come back, kill a few more divisions, try to get some land damage and so on to make sure that you have to make sure you have enough war score. In general, it should not be needed, so it should be fine. Tokyo is down. We got 13%. We got 13% of... That was very Italian. We got 13% of the war score. We are very happy with that. So we need to pass probably one turn or two in any case. But then you can annex Kanto. Priority on that. As soon as you get that, if you want, you can also pop it. Some other stuff if you have the additional points. But yeah, then you're happy. You can confirm. And that's it. We control Tokyo. We control Rome. We control Berlin. Not really required for the achievement, but yet. We control Paris. We control London. We are the full Ottoman Empire. We cored everything. So all of the provinces of the Ottoman Empire are back into the Ottoman Empire. Well, this is what I would call a successful Ottoman Empire guide. A successful Ottoman Empire run. So guys, it's all for this run. It was a long one and it was a challenging one. There are many little things in this run that can go one way or another. It requires some adaptation, but this strategy that I had for you today is amazing. If you follow the strategy and you're able to adapt to the little changes, you're guaranteed to succeed as the Ottoman Empire and you're guaranteed to succeed at getting that very difficult achievement. I hope you enjoyed this guide because it was really probably a bit too much work from my side. I spent the last month, maybe even more than that, working on this almost every day, adjusting little details of the entire run. In the end, I think it's a great guide and a fun and challenging run. Let me know in the comments how it goes for you. I'm very curious to hear if you're able to follow it successfully. And if you have any doubts or questions, as usual. And guys, a lot of work went into this, so as usual, maybe even a bit more than usual, please show your support by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving me a comment. Any comment helps the algorithm, and that would be great. Other than that, guys, thank you all for watching and staying with me until now. It was fun, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye bye!